Nobody's.
Introduce yourself. Tell us where you from. This is. I feel like this is our first time really getting to meet you. So please act like we just met each other for the first time.
I got you, bro. Yo, what's good, gang? It's your boy Onyx, aka Sir Split Sparker, tapping in from Rochester, New York. Type vibes. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Rochester.
Tell me. I was telling Ron this before you hopped on.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about Rochester.
Please. A lot of people don't.
Please, is there rappers there? Like, are you and your boys like the only rappers there?
Honestly, nah. It's like a whole culture like of artists like in the whole Rochester scene. I feel like it get like slept on because it's like upstate from New York, and like usually nobody care about upstate for real. I'm being honest.
Because the more upstate you go is farms and stuff, right?
Honestly, people think that, but Rochester is a real city. Like, it's almost like New York City.
Who's the top artist from Rochester?
Honestly,
I like famous. Like, if anybody was like, yo, who's the top rapper out of Rochester? Who is that?
Y'all know RXK Nephew?
Walking that bitch get critical. Dance moves hitting so hard, shit crucial. Walking that bitch get critical. Dance moves hitting so hard, shit crucial.
No.
No, all right.
No.
Let me think. 38 Special.
Something said wrong, got transformed to a lead stone. Hope you read songs. Your future I understand, cause getting blood on our hands, how we read poems. Say a prayer for my dead moms.
I know 38 Special. I do know 38 Special. Yep. I do know him.
He from Rochester. I'm trying to think of a couple other artists that y'all might know, cause there's a lot of popping artists that I feel like they got their own little scene. Like, that's the whole thing with Rochester. It's like a whole mix of like artists from different sounds. So like, you know, I was about to say,
what's the Rochester sound? Like, what does that sound like?
The Rochester sound. See, I was just having this conversation with bro the other day. I feel like it's hard to describe it because like it's definitely got that traditional New York sound, don't get me wrong. And like myself, that's kind of where I put like a lot of inspiration from. But they kind of got their own sauce to it by like, you know what I'm saying, the lingo and like the way they carry themselves with the style. So I feel like it's not really a distinct style. It's kind of like you would know somebody from Rochester though by the way they talk in the lingo.
Okay, so you really just saying Rochester is on its own. Like, there's the Bronx, there's Brooklyn, there's New York City. Like, Rochester is its own thing.
Yeah, I feel like you got to just come here and experience it for real to understand.
We will. Honestly, we will be out there for sure.
I remember when, because no offense, because I know how New York get down, but I know for a while back in like before ASAP and them, it was quiet. Like, you know, you had New York was rocking, but like ASAP, when ASAP Mob and all them came out, talented as hell, of course, but a lot of the fashion that they brought to it played a huge part in the appeal to it as well. Is there a certain type of dress or fashion that is linked to Rochester that may separate from, like he said, Brooklyn or the Bronx at all?
Honestly, myself, I probably wouldn't say it's a distinct fashion per se. It's probably just the way that people carry themselves up here. Rochester is a small city, so it's kind of like not small in the sense like a small town, but like everybody kind of know everybody type stuff if you tapped in. But and then also it's kind of close to Buffalo and Syracuse, so sometimes we kind of get outshined because of like, you know, Buffalo and Syracuse, they got big colleges and sports. Rochester, we don't got none of that. We got like Kodak, you know what I'm saying, and different stuff like that, but not really nothing on the sports side to where people would know us for.
What would you consider right now is your biggest challenge being an underground artist?
Definitely in Rochester, kind of like the lack of infrastructure in a sense, and it's kind of like, I feel like within the last few years, we kind of start to get that the community collectiveness where all the artists working together, we networking together, you know what I'm saying, pulling up the shows and trying to use our resources, kind of like how Atlanta is doing in Texas and stuff like that. But before, it really wasn't like that. It was like crabs in a barrel. Like, bro, I'm popping. I'm a gatekeep, you know what I'm saying? Everything I got, y'all do what y'all do over there. But I feel like lately with myself and a bunch of other local artists, we trying to break that mold. And really for the whole upstate, like not only Rochester, but Buffalo, Syracuse, and you know what I'm saying, everybody else.
I knew you would like him, Rod. I told you that, Rod. I was like, I knew you would like him. Because this, I try to explain this to so many people, bro. Like, being an underground artist, like that don't mean you shouldn't do shows. That don't mean you should be out there networking, meeting people. That don't mean you should be not shooting music video. Like, I feel like people think being underground means you don't have to do the same things as the people that's already on. And I'm like, bro, that's like the complete opposite. Like,
bro, you gotta go twice as hard.
You gotta go a million times harder. Like,
go stupid, for real.
And it's funny because we're starting to see it a little bit where I'm from. I'm from a small town in Ohio where there's not a lot of rap artists there, and it's kind of the same aspect where they went so long with people thinking they could just drop a song on SoundCloud and blow up. And I was like, oh, y'all done. I was like, y'all are cooked. Outside of shows, how else are you guys networking or trying to? Is it the collabs? Because we'll talk about your album later. But like, yeah. I seen for one, you did a ton of collabs. Like,
yes, sir.
That was a big deal. Is that been your guys' way of doing stuff outside of shows? Or are you guys doing anything else?
Yeah, definitely heavy on collabs. Like my boy Shua, we kind of like went to high school together, so like we even been tapped in even before the music scene.
Okay,
kind of like have that mutual relationship before the music. It just like been so happened we talented and we know each other, so we've been trying to build on that.
Perfect.
But for everybody else, it's kind of just like finding people who on the same type of time and like just introducing them different ideas. And then also myself, I just be studying other artists and just seeing things they incorporate and figuring out how can I apply that to myself. Like, yo, I'm hitting up local venues and any type of creatives, figure out how can we collaborate, local businesses, you know what I'm saying, in the community doing stuff.
That's what I was going to ask next. Because I saw the music video and you said your boy Shu, I think he's in a music video that you have.
Yep.
What is it? I Met a Fairy? I believe that's what it's called.
Make it out one day. Birds in the cage. I just be singing whatever my heart say. Still be amazed what I be scheming. I got a big play. I got a big heart. Stay dangerous. That's what my twins say.
The sound, I was listening to it and I'm like, man, this sound like, I don't know if you ever seen Black Dynamite, but the production, like the music in the background, how it sound like some action figure type shit. I'm like, some, like 70s action type. I wonder what his influence, like who's his influences in the game of rap that maybe have inspired him to actually pursue this.
Big shout out. I got to shout out Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get into that.
We already had that plan.
Yeah, like definitely Kendrick, but Mick Jenkins. I feel like heavy Andre 3K. Definitely heavy Lupe Fiasco. I got to give a big shout out to Earl Sweatshirt. Heavily influenced in the whole underground scene. Yeah, I feel like stuff like that. And honestly, I just been big on movies and like cinema and stuff like that since a kid. So even before I made music, I just always knew like I love movies. I never thought I would like be in a space where I could probably potentially create them, but I'm like, yo, just the way that stuff is shot and like, you know what I'm saying? Just I always had an eye for stuff like that.
Sound like us, man.
I told you, Ron. I told you. We had to make this meeting happen because I feel like we're very like-minded in that just you have to take creativity to another level. People get so comfortable, you know what I mean? Like doing their little music videos, doing all that. But like you said, how's the lighting look in that scene? How's the background music sound on this part?
Exactly.
Like when people take the creativity to that next level, like that's really where a lot of people aren't tapped into yet.